Welcome. It's Rishi here from meditatewithrishi.com, and today we're going to be answering the question, why is the law of attraction not working for you? So this is a question that a lot of people have, a lot of people struggle with, something I struggled with for a long time as well. And what I want to share with you today is basically a new perspective, a new way of approaching things that will really change how you look at everything, how you approach everything, and ultimately change the results that you're getting very quickly. Okay, so let's get to it. Now, the first thing that we must understand, okay, because there is so much information on this topic online, but I think a lot of it is incomplete. Okay, so a lot of it is to do with you can attract what you want through your thoughts. You must, think positive. You must visualize. You must be clear on your goals. All these things, and they're all true. They are all true. Okay, but they are not the full picture, and this is where I feel a lot of people fail. So what I want to share with you today is, the other side of it, and ultimately what is going to make the difference between you reaching the goals that you have. Okay, so a lot of people, most people, when they are trying to, achieve a goal, manifest a new reality, whatever name you want to give to it, right? They're coming from a place of lack. So just look at this scale over here, right? At the top we have abundance, and down here we have lack. Okay, so ultimately what most people are doing is, you have this goal, you are, visualizing it, you are becoming very clear on what actions you should take, all these things. But it's coming from a place of, I want this, And wanting is coming from a place of lack, because when you want something, subconsciously you're telling yourself that I don't have it, okay? The opposite of this, where we want to be, is instead of wanting, we want to be being. And that's where abundance is, actually. Think of somebody that has $1 billion. They are not wanting that $1 billion. They have it, right? They're being a billionaire. Now, I get that obviously, the difference between us and them, or you and them, is that you don't ultimately have that thing that you want. So the question is, how do you take out this wanting? How do you operate from a state of being when ultimately, really, you want that thing? How do we do this? That is the real question, and that's what I want to speak to you about today. Okay, so let me give you the answer, short and simple. The way to do this is to cultivate detachment. The way to do this is to cultivate detachment. Detachment is one of the central themes of the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, and it is said that when we perform actions selflessly, without a want of personal gain, when we perform selfless actions, ultimately we open our heart so much that everything we want actually comes to us. Okay, but again, it's still difficult, right? So how do you cultivate detachment to your goals when you want your goals? The whole reason why you have a goal, I want to buy this house, or I want to earn this much money. The only reason you have the goal is because you want it. So how can you want something and still be detached from whether it comes or whether it comes a certain way, right? How do we do this? So this is ultimately the art of living selflessly, selfless action. And this, by the way, is the answer to all your problems. Trust me when I say this, okay? Selfless action, when we do something not for personal gain, but either as an offering to the divine, or as a way to help, other people with our unique skills and talents. That is really where you are going to manifest everything that you desire. Trust me on this, okay? So how does this work? Let me give you a couple of concrete examples so it makes sense, because I know that for a lot of you, you're still probably trying to wrap your head around the idea that how do I, want something and be detached from it, and then how do I be detached from something and still not act like I want it? How do I do that? That's $1 million question, right? So it's all about changing the reason why you're doing something. It's all about changing the perspective that you have when you're going about your duties or your business. So let's take right now the richest man in the world, Jeff Bezos, okay? The CEO of Amazon. Now, I'm sure you know him. I'm sure you've heard of him. I'm sure you've heard of how much he's worth. But what he is really known for in the business world is that he is very customer centric. So he does business with having the customer in mind, not having profit in mind. Okay, so many companies say this. A lot of companies actually say this, that, we're focused on our customer, we're customer centric, we're customer driven. And it's very easy to say, and maybe they even have those intentions, right? They even have the intentions of being customer centric, but when push comes to shove, when targets are not being met, ultimately that is the differentiator. Are you going to then still be customer centric, or are you going to do whatever it takes to hit the targets you need to hit as a company, as a business, right? So Jeff Bezos, something he's known for doing is in his executive meetings, he will wheel in an empty chair and just put it there to show all his senior executives that this chair represents the person that is not here, which is our customer, and he or she is the most important person. So anything that we're going to talk about in this meeting ultimately should be done with how can we help this person. Do you know how powerful that is? Imagine you're in a business meeting about hitting your targets. And the question goes from how do we hit our targets to how can we help this company at this point in time, and money will naturally come to us. It's a complete shift, right? It is a complete shift. Ultimately, the way to get what we want is to help others get what they want, right? This has been said through the ages. I'll give you an example from my life. I'm nowhere near Mr. Jeff Bezos, okay? I'm on the other end of the spectrum, just starting out. But I want to tell you this so that you have something more, better to relate to. So when I quit my job ultimately to teach meditation, okay? And I quit it to teach meditation because meditation changed my life. It took me out of an addiction to drugs and alcohol and completely gave a 180 to my life. So I decided that if this has helped me so much, I want to share this practice in its most authentic form, which is why I quit my job with barely any savings, went to India for a year to be trained, authentically before I start spreading, these ancient teachings. And when I started teaching online, I would have these online classes, and for months there would be one person, okay, one of my friends who would pay for the class, come for the class, maybe two people. The most I've ever had, I think 4 or 5 people, okay, 4 or 5 people, which is nothing, right? And I wasn't making any money from it, and it wasn't reaching people. So I stopped that, and I asked myself, why am I doing this, first of all, right? Let's apply this into our life, right? Why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I want to spread meditation. My mission is to have meditation in every home, school, and workplace, okay? So in order to do that, if the way I'm teaching is hiding it behind a class, leaving my best stuff for a classroom, and reaching one person or a few people, that's not really doing what I want to do. So I thought about, okay, when people think of meditating, what do, right? What do I do? Ultimately, when most people will go onto YouTube and type in meditation for sleep, meditation for anxiety, all these things. In fact, when I fancy a guided meditation, I go on YouTube. So I decided that I won't be running online classes anymore, and I will simply put all my meditations on YouTube for free. And now, in fact, I upload a few every week. Okay, so I decided what I'm going to do is do this for the people that I want to serve and give them my best stuff just for free. I didn't think about how will I make money or how much money am I losing, right? I was like, ultimately, this is what I believe in, so let's try and practice it. Let's see what happens. And within just a couple of weeks of doing this, what's happened is that those meditations, I've just started, right? So my YouTube following is low at the moment, but they are reaching 30, 40 people on the day that I put them out. So it's gone from 1 or 2 people to 30 or 40 people that are now meditating, which is fulfilling the reason why I started teaching. And those same people are then going and buying my online courses. So everyone wins. Everyone wins. I'm actually making more than I would have made from those classes, right? But that was not the question I asked. The question I asked was, how can I essentially spread meditation and just give people good meditations to listen to ultimately? And do you see what I mean, right? So when you shift in that way, when you shift and when you ask the question, how can I use my skills, my talents to help somebody else, make my skills an offering, make my actions an offering, then what you want will ultimately come to you. Maybe not in the way that you'd imagined, but in many other ways. So we need not be attached to a specific outcome. We need not be attached to, this is how things should turn out. This is when something should happen, in my way. No, let the universe do its work. You do your work, right? Ultimately, when you put good actions, good intentions out there, through the law of karma, it will come back to you multifold. So that is pretty much it, okay? Cultivating detachment, detachment from your goal. The goal is there to serve as a direction, because if you don't have a goal, then you don't know what to do during your day-to-day time, right? So have a goal, but the goal is not to be achieved and conquered. The goal is there as a direction, right? So I want to spread meditation to the whole world, and I will put everything out there for free. And you just be detached. Then, because I'm putting it out there for free, it doesn't matter how many people are watching it, right? But in my class, it mattered how many people are coming. Do you see what I mean? And the action, the kind of result of the selfless action is ultimately when you're putting good out there, it's bound to come back to you. This is the law of karma. It's very simple. It's nothing new. It is a law of the universe. So that is it. I hope that made sense, okay? If you have any questions, put them down below. I'd love to answer them. And let me put this out there as well. So if you are serious about, co-creating your abundant life, your dream life with the universe, I've created a series, a 21-day series called the 21 Days to Abundance. They are 21 meditations where each meditation basically unfolds a teaching to creating your abundant life. And you can check it out on meditatewithrishi.com. That is all. Thank you very much. Namaste.